Sorry.
Today I'm going to talk about Chapter 16, Section 2. I'm going to introduce the bacteria, and I'll divide this lecture, I think, into 3 parts. So this is part 1. We're going to talk about a group of organisms that are called prokaryotes, and they are microorganisms, meaning that can't be seen with the eye, with the naked eye. Sometimes they're referred to as simply microbes, and they are ubiquitous, means they are found everywhere. For example, they're found in the Antarctic, in glaciers. They're found in clouds, in the deepest portion of the sea, in hot springs, and more hospitable areas also. There are more species of bacteria than any other type of organism on the planet, and they exist in huge numbers. They are also found on and in us, so they colonize our skin, our gut, etc. And it's been estimated that of our 30 trillion cells, these are eukaryotic or human cells, that we carry with us about an equal number of bacterial cells, so a little bit more, 39 trillion bacterial cells. And there is a term that's being used to describe those bacteria that inhabit our bodies, and the term that's used is the microbiome. And it's a subject of a lot of research because apparently those bacteria cells actually impact our daily physiology. Okay, a few more characteristics. So they are found almost everywhere. They are small, and that's what we call them microorganisms. They generally are about 10 micrometers in diameter. So the head of a pin can carry 1 million or so bacterial cells. We're going to talk about the general structure of a bacterial cell, and I'll draw a diagram in just a minute, but I also want to remind you that these are unicellular or single-celled organisms. All right, so let's take a look at what a typical bacterial cell looks like as far as its general components. this is a bacterial cell. Remember that prokaryotes lack a nucleus. So it's a major characteristic. So there's no membrane that surrounds the DNA or the chromosome. In this diagram, this represents the cell membrane. So this is the phospholipid bilayer. Almost all, not quite all, but almost all bacteria cells have an outer cell wall that helps maintain its shape. Interior to the cell membrane, we have a bacterial chromosome. It's usually circular. So this is the DNA. So all of the genes for the bacterial cell are located, almost all are located on this chromosome. There are small circular pieces of DNA that we've talked about before that are called plasmids, and they sometimes carry resistance to antibiotics. They're also used in cloning, as we talked about, I think, earlier. These small dots represent ribosomes, and we also have, projecting exteriorly, we have flagella. Some bacteria have flagella. The structure of this type of flagella is not the same as what we see in eukaryotes. It's somewhat different. In addition, there are, in some bacterial cells, there are small hair-like projections that are called pili, P-I-L-I, and they have various functions. One of them is for attachment to a surface. How am I doing on time?
About a minute.
Another minute?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. One other thing I want to mention about structure of bacterial cells is that in general we recognize 3 different shapes of bacterial cells. There are more, but the main categories as far as shape include round shaped bacteria, and these are called cocci, and sometimes the name of the Latin name or scientific name for the bacteria includes this term. Let me just briefly mention 2 other structures. There are spiral-shaped bacteria. They're called spirochetes, and rod-shaped are called bacilli. Okay, that's the end of part 1, and I'll continue discussion of part 2. We'll continue with bacteria.